Integers and absolute value. How is absolute value used in everyday life? Our first learning target is I can order and compare rational numbers. Integers are whole numbers and their opposites, where rational numbers is also including everything in between, whether that be fraction or decimal parts. The first part of our success checklist says plot the rational numbers on a number line. That means we need to take a set of numbers and order them, whether that be from least to greatest or greatest to least. For our first example, let's order integers from least to greatest. And we will use the values -2, 5, -3, 0, and 1. Before we plot these points on the number line, I need to know that integers consist of whole numbers and their opposites. The further left on a number line, the lesser the value. So if I take my number line and start plotting these points, I have first -2, then I need to find 5 on the number line, -3, 0, and 1. Now that I plotted my points, I can take those points and list them from least to greatest. Next, it says use inequality signs to compare two integers. So not only can I list these values in order from least to greatest, I can also compare, let's say, -2 and 0. And in elementary school, you use these same inequality signs. Sometimes we refer to them as alligators, where it eats the bigger number. Now we have numbers to the left of 0 that include negatives. So my symbols for my inequalities are less than and greater than. Later on, we'll learn there's also a less than or equal to and a greater than or equal to. And I'm going to go back up to my success checklist, and it says the further left on a number line, the lesser the value. So if I want to compare -2 and 0, I can think of money. I would rather owe nothing than owe someone $2. So -2 is less than 0. Or if you look on your number line, -2 is to the left of 0. And then we can also think of a thermometer or temperature. And we can use the word problem. The temperature started at 0 degrees. And lowered 3 degrees. What is the current temperature? And if you look at the thermometer on your left, I start at 0 degrees and I climb down 3. My answer would be negative 3 degrees. Our next learning target is I can find the absolute value of a number. In order to do this, we need to graph the integer on a number line and count the distance from 0. When I write absolute value, I use 2 bars around the number. So that would read the absolute value of negative 7. I'm going to use a number line. And I'm going to plot the point negative 7 on my number line. And then I'm also going to highlight 0. Graphing the integer is simply plotting the point. Then it says count the distance from 0. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The absolute value of negative 7 is 7. I understand that absolute value is always positive because distance can't be negative. So when we're finding absolute value, because it's distance, if you think about running a mile backwards, you still ran a mile. If I drive a car in reverse 7 miles, I still drove 7 miles. So it's always positive. Let's try another one. Let's try the absolute value of 2. If I plot the point on a number line for 2 and highlight 0, how many steps do I take to move from 0 to 2? 2 steps. My last checklist item says I can apply the negative outside of the absolute value sign after absolute value is found. So that example would look very different. It's going to be a negative, then absolute value. And something like 3. So in this case, I know the absolute value of 3 is 3. The negative sign gets applied after. Shade in your level of understanding.